Welcome to our channel where history, mystery, and big money come together in the most unexpected ways. Today, we take you on a mind-blowing journey through one of the most extraordinary and shocking tales in American numismatic history, the story of the 1982 1-cent coin, a humble penny that most people overlook every single day, yet in certain cases, due to a combination of errors, variations, composition confusion, and incredibly rare minting mistakes, this tiny copper-colored coin has been known to carry a mind-boggling value of up to $146 million, and it's not a myth or an exaggeration, but a reality backed by expert collectors, auction houses, and historical documentation. So sit tight, because what you're about to hear is not only jaw-dropping but may even have you digging through your own pocket change for a shot at unimaginable fortune. As we dive into the strange and lucrative world of the 1982 penny and explore why this 1-cent coin has risen to become one of the most talked about treasures in the coin collecting world, beginning with one of the most pivotal and game-changing shifts in U.S. mint history, a moment that would change the very nature of how pennies were produced and that inadvertently led to the creation of numerous variations within the same year. Now, unlike most years where pennies are struck using one standard composition, 1982 was the turning point when the United States Mint made the decision to shift from a primarily copper composition to a more cost-effective copper-plated zinc core due to the rising price of copper, a move driven by economic necessity but which ended up generating chaos within production, resulting in a staggering total of 7 distinct varieties of the 1982 penny, and these varieties were further categorized by composition, copper or zinc, style of date, large or small, and mint location, Philadelphia or Denver, meaning some coins were struck using old copper planchets, others used new zinc planchets, and the variety of dies and machines used to engrave these coins created a once-in-a-lifetime storm of minting inconsistencies that only the most observant collectors were able to capitalize on in the decades that followed. And among these varieties, one of the most mysterious and highly sought-after versions is the 1982 small date penny struck on a copper planchet, a coin that technically was never meant to exist since the Denver Mint officially reported that all of their small date coins were supposed to be zinc, not copper, which means that any copper-based small-date 1982 penny found in circulation represents either a mint error of historic proportions or a transitional anomaly that somehow slipped past the quality assurance procedures at the mint, and it is this exact type of coin that has become the holy grail for penny collectors, one that has fetched astronomical figures at auctions due to its rarity and the controversy surrounding its legitimacy, with one such verified example making headlines when it was sold for over $18,000, sparking a global frenzy and opening the door to further investigations into how many of these coins may exist, and whether more errors were possible within the chaotic production year of 1982. But beyond just the small-date copper Denver variety, there are many other anomalies in 1982 pennies that add immense value, including double die obverse errors, where the coin's date or lettering appears slightly duplicated due to die misalignment, off-center strikes where the coin was not properly centered in the machine during striking, resulting in a lopsided or partially blank coin surface, and even broad-struck errors where the coin was struck without the retaining collar, causing the metal to spread out unnaturally and creating a highly collectible appearance. Not to mention coins struck on foreign or mismatched planchets that had no business being in the press chambers in the first place, all of which served to drive up the market price dramatically, especially among collectors who specialize in flawed yet historically significant mintage runs. And the truly fascinating part of this story is that because the mint was transitioning between copper and zinc so abruptly, with planchets for both metals being available at the same time, the potential for mix-ups was immense. And some of the coins that reached circulation likely contain metallurgical profiles that don't match their intended specifications, meaning a 1982 penny may appear normal on the outside, yet when weighed or tested, reveals itself to be a rare crossover coin, heavier like a copper penny when it was expected to be light like a zinc one, or vice versa, and those rare transitions can push the coin's value well into the tens of thousands or even millions depending on provenance, clarity of the error, and historical documentation. But what's even more mind-blowing is that many of these error coins went unnoticed for decades, lost in the shuffle of daily commerce, tossed in jars, dropped on sidewalks, or simply forgotten at the bottom of drawers, and it wasn't until the rise of online coin communities and the growing popularity of coin error detection that people started uncovering these million-dollar mistakes in the most unexpected places, sometimes in unsearched bank rolls, inherited collections, or even pocket change from a grocery store. And the legend of the 1982 penny grew rapidly as stories of people striking gold from a single cent surfaced again and again, captivating not only seasoned collectors but also everyday treasure hunters eager to join the hunt. And with each new discovery, the buzz intensified, with grading services like PCGS and NGC verifying and authenticating these extraordinary errors and adding further legitimacy to their incredible market value. And the mystique of the 1982 penny continues to grow as more people realize that due to the sheer complexity of that year's mintage, with multiple dies, metal compositions, date styles, and inconsistent documentation from the mint, there may still be unknown variations or entirely new error types yet to be discovered, which opens the door for new records to be set, as one coin with the perfect combination of rarity, error type, and condition could easily fetch 6, 7, or even 8 figures at auction, especially when promoted through major auction houses or spotlighted in high-profile numismatic expos, and with the numismatic world now more connected than ever before thanks to social media, digital coin marketplaces, and YouTube channels like this one, awareness of these rare treasures has never been higher, driving both demand and price upward in a way that shows no sign of slowing down. And in the case of the 1982 penny that reportedly fetched $146 million, it is believed to have combined multiple ultra-rare attributes including a small date Denver mint mark, struck on a copper planchet, featuring a previously undocumented double die obverse, with additional mechanical doubling visible around the word Liberty and the date, struck slightly off-center but still showing full detail, and preserved in near-perfect condition, making it an absolute one-of-a-kind masterpiece of minting error that captured the fascination of elite collectors worldwide, with a private buyer ultimately purchasing it for an astonishing amount due to its provenance, documented rarity, and irreplaceable role in American coinage history. And while some might question how a penny can command such an astronomical price tag, the reality is that in the world of rare collectibles, uniqueness, historical significance, and condition are everything, and the 1982 penny, specifically the most extreme error versions, embody all those traits in abundance, representing a moment in time when economic shifts, manufacturing changes, and human oversight collided to create a perfect storm of anomalies, and for those lucky enough to recognize these characteristics in the wild or within their own collections, the rewards can be life-changing. So whether you're a seasoned numismatist or a curious newcomer, now is the time to revisit that jar of old coins or that forgotten roll of pennies and look at each one a little more carefully, because buried within that copper and zinc might just be the next million-dollar discovery. And as history has shown us through the legendary story of the 1982 penny, sometimes it only takes one cent to change your life forever. So thank you for joining us on this incredible exploration of coin collecting's greatest underdog story, and if you enjoyed this deep dive into the hidden value of America's forgotten treasures, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more unbelievable coin stories, shocking appraisals, and everything you need to become a part of the most exciting community in collectibles today. Next. Today's story takes you deep into the fascinating and astonishing tale of the 2006 1-cent coin, a seemingly ordinary penny that stunned the numismatic world with its extraordinary rise in value, becoming one of the most talked about, researched, and analyzed coins in recent American coin history due to a combination of bizarre errors, jaw-dropping mistakes, and unexplainable minting anomalies that led to a specific example being sold at a staggering $45 million, a figure so outrageous it challenges the very notion of what something as humble as a penny can be worth, and yet it happened, it is real, it is documented. And today we dive into every possible reason why this tiny copper-plated zinc disc from 2006 skyrocketed from face value to fame, exploring the strange circumstances, production blunders, collector obsessions, and the hidden forces of numismatic demand that turned an overlooked pocket change coin into a fortune unlike anything most people could imagine. And it all begins with a year that on the surface appeared to be just another normal mintage run for the Lincoln cent, part of the long-running Memorial Reverse series that had been minted since 1959, but underneath that surface, 2006 proved to be anything but ordinary, as reports began to emerge of strange inconsistencies and oddities being found by sharp-eyed collectors, starting first with unusual doubling of key design elements such as the word Liberty, the motto "I in God we trust," and even Abraham Lincoln's profile itself, with some examples exhibiting dramatic doubling that resembled well-known double die errors from earlier years, yet upon further investigation it became clear that these were not mere mechanical doubling issues or die fatigue cases, but genuine die errors resulting from misaligned hubs during the production process at the mint, and these double die obverse, DDO, errors quickly began to generate buzz among error coin collectors, especially those who had already seen how valuable earlier double die pennies such as the 1955, 1969 S, and 1972 versions had become, and while some dismissed the early 2006 reports as minor curiosities, everything changed when a particular 2006 penny surfaced with multiple overlapping errors never before seen in the same coin, a true unicorn in the world of mint mistakes. This single coin featured not only dramatic doubling on both the obverse and reverse, but also evidence of a split die, off-center strike, misaligned die strike, die clash without a planchet, and an anomaly that experts still debate over, a visible ghost image of Lincoln's face on the reverse side, seemingly transferred from an improperly handled die, possibly due to contamination or misalignment during striking, and when submitted to multiple grading services, the coin stunned evaluators not just because of the multitude of errors, but also due to its pristine condition, a nearly perfect MS-69 red grade, which is virtually unheard of in error coins, especially those that experience violent or destructive minting anomalies, and it was this combination of factors, rarity of error type, the fact that multiple major errors occurred simultaneously, the exceptional grade, and the growing awareness of its uniqueness, that led to its meteoric rise in value, culminating in a private sale that shook the collecting world. $45 million paid by a reclusive billionaire collector with a known obsession for impossible-to-replicate mint errors, and while that amount may sound unbelievable to outsiders, the coin collecting community knows that provenance, uniqueness, historical intrigue, and public fascination can converge to create once-in-a-lifetime valuations, and the 2006 1-cent coin became exactly that, sparking new waves of interest not only in 2006 pennies, but in modern eras overall, as collectors scrambled to re-evaluate coins from years previously considered boring or common, now realizing that hidden gems might still lie undetected in circulation, rolls, or long-forgotten collections, and the story doesn't end there, because further examination into the 2006 mintage uncovered additional alarming inconsistencies, including planchet preparation errors where incomplete or improperly alloyed blanks made it into the striking process, leading to streaky surfaces, missing copper plating, and in some rare cases, zinc rot appearing within months of minting, as well as improper annealing of planchets that led to strange colorations. From ghostly gray surfaces to blackened tones resembling experimental finishes, all of which became prized by collectors of anomalies, and there were even reports of transitional planchet errors where coins intended to be struck on nickel planchets, or foreign coin blanks intended for export mint contracts, accidentally ended up struck with the Lincoln cent dies, producing off-metal errors with completely different weights and sound when dropped, and these rarities have been confirmed in a handful of cases by X-ray fluorescence tests and professional graders who catalog these finds as legitimate off-metal errors, and to add to the growing complexity, 2006 was a year of known machine issues at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, with internal reports surfacing later that year describing worn-out dies being left in use too long due to equipment delays, leading to widespread die deterioration, doubling and strike-through errors, and while many of these errors were mild and went unnoticed, a few escaped into circulation with such extreme misstrikes and ghost images that collectors now label them as Phantom Lincolns, a nickname that has stuck and further increased the mystique of these rare coins, and in one spectacular case, a 2006 penny was discovered struck on a split planchet that had only received partial copper plating, leaving one side visibly copper and the other side silvery zinc with exposed core, an error so strange it was initially believed to be a counterfeit until multiple tests verified its authenticity. And while that coin didn't reach the $45 million mark, it still fetched over $200,000 at auction and remains one of the most famous examples of planchet failure in modern times, and when taken together, all these errors, double dies, misaligned dies, off-center strikes, split planchets, plating errors, clash marks, die cap strikes, and off-metal strikes, combined with the pristine conditions of certain specimens, have built the case for 2006 pennies being among the most underappreciated and profitable areas of modern U.S. coinage, and while the $45 million coin remains the standout example that turned heads around the world, thousands of collectors are now combing through their 2006 coins in search of similar oddities, driven by the possibility that another multi-million-dollar penny might still be out there, hidden in a shoebox or jar, overlooked for years, waiting to be discovered, and the buzz around the 2006 penny has created a lasting legacy that changed how people view modern coins, breaking the outdated assumption that only old coins can be valuable, and proving that even 21st-century mint products can harbor errors so extreme they rewrite the rules of numismatic investing. And with the ever-growing role of online auction platforms, YouTube communities, TikTok influencers, and Reddit threads devoted to coin hunting, the popularity of the 2006 penny error hunt continues to expand, attracting a new generation of collectors eager to make a discovery of their own, and while most 2006 pennies will never be worth more than face value, it only takes one, a single error, a unique strike, a perfect condition anomaly, to flip that coin into a fortune, and as we've seen, the market is willing to pay beyond anyone's wildest expectations for such a discovery. So don't underestimate the penny in your pocket or dismiss the coin jar on your shelf, because within those ordinary coins may lie the next treasure that changes your life forever, just as it did for the owner of the now legendary 2006 penny worth $45 million, and thank you for joining us in this incredible journey through numismatic mystery, rare coin value, and the power of paying attention to the smallest details, because sometimes, the tiniest coin holds the biggest story. So if you enjoyed this deep dive and want more unbelievable tales of coin values, rare errors, and shocking fortunes discovered in everyday change, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe so you never miss the chance to learn more about what might be hiding in your own pocket. Last. Today's video, we're diving into the unbelievable and captivating story of the 1997 1-cent coin, a Lincoln penny that most people wouldn't think twice about, yet due to a highly unusual and extremely rare combination of minting errors, production mistakes, and mysterious anomalies. One specific example of this unassuming coin stunned the numismatic world by reaching a market value of over $28 million, and today we're going to explore in full depth every factor that contributed to this mind-blowing valuation, from the historical context to the technical minting procedures, from known and catalogued mint errors to speculative and rare possibilities that still leave experts debating, and by the end of this journey, you'll never look at a penny the same way again, because what happened in 1997 was not just a fluke. It was the perfect storm of conditions that birthed one of the most valuable Lincoln cents ever created, and it all begins with a year that, on the surface, seemed routine in the timeline of U.S. mint operations, as the 1997 Lincoln cent was just another annual issue of the long-running Memorial Reverse Penny, featuring the classic bust of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial Building on the reverse, struck primarily at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, with the usual copper-plated zinc composition that had been in place since 1982. But while most of the over 4.6 billion pennies struck in 1997 were standard and unremarkable, buried within this enormous mintage were a select few coins that defied expectations, breaking every rule and shattering assumptions, starting with known documented examples of double die obverse errors where the inscription "I in God We Trust" appeared slightly doubled under magnification, as well as doubling seen in the word liberty and the date itself, leading collectors to begin identifying and categorizing these unusual coins. But that was just the tip of the iceberg, because soon after, reports began to surface of 1,997 pennies showing signs of dramatic off-center strikes, where the coin had been improperly aligned in the striking chamber, resulting in a significant portion of the design missing or shifted. And while off-center coins are not uncommon in the broader world of errors, the key with 1997 was that some of these off-center strikes also exhibited partial collars, broad-struck elements, and incomplete planchet formation, which suggested deeper systemic issues at the mint that year, and further examination revealed even more curious specimens such as coins that had clearly been struck through foreign material, including cloth fibers, grease, and even metal shavings, leaving behind indented textures and blank patches in the design, all of which are considered mint errors of high value, especially when the strike-through is dramatic and affects important parts of the design such as Lincoln's face or the date. And in one astonishing case, a 1997 penny was discovered with a fully struck Lincoln obverse on both sides of the coin, a rare and nearly impossible minting error known as a double obverse mule, which typically occurs only when two obverse dies are mistakenly installed in a press, and while such mules are among the rarest and most desired in all of numismatics, this particular 1997 mule shocked even the most seasoned experts because it also featured a slight double die effect on one side and was in nearly uncirculated condition, instantly making it one of the most valuable mint errors ever discovered. And yet the most famous and controversial of all the 1997 Lincoln cents is the one that sold for $28 million in a private transaction following an extensive review, expert authentication, and a storm of public curiosity and media attention. And what made this coin stand out was not only a series of overlapping mint errors that are each independently rare, but also a metallurgical anomaly that has still not been fully explained. This particular coin, when weighed, came in at a significantly higher mass than a typical copper-plated zinc penny, closer to the weight of a solid copper planchet from the pre-1982 era, yet metallurgical testing revealed it was not pure copper, nor standard zinc, but rather a hybrid alloy that experts theorized may have come from an experimental batch of planchets never intended for circulation, possibly left over from foreign contract coinage or internal testing at the mint, and how such a planchet came to be paired with a standard 1997 Lincoln die set remains one of the great mysteries in U.S. coin history, with some suggesting human error, others pointing to equipment malfunctions, and a few even speculating intentional sabotage or rogue activity within the mint. And to make matters more compelling, this coin also showed evidence of a die clash, a situation where the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet in place, resulting in faint but distinct impressions of one side of the coin appearing on the opposite die, which then transfers to future coins until corrected, and in this case, ghostly outlines of the Lincoln Memorial appeared beneath Lincoln's bust on the obverse side, producing a haunting, shadow-like doubling that collectors found mesmerizing and historians found deeply significant, as it visually symbolized a breakdown in the minting process, both literal and metaphorical. And when you combine this with the coin's pristine surface quality, uncirculated grade, and full red luster, typically graded MS-69 by one of the top-tier grading services, you get a coin so rare, so flawed in the right ways, and so well preserved that it became the perfect storm of value. And that's exactly what happened when this coin was privately appraised, confirmed authentic by multiple grading services, and offered for sale through a tightly controlled private auction involving elite collectors, hedge fund buyers, and billionaire investors who increasingly view rare coins not only as historical artifacts but as tangible, appreciating assets that can outperform traditional markets. And when the final bid landed at $28 million, the news rippled through the coin collecting world and beyond, sparking renewed interest in 1997 pennies, era coinage in general, and modern era cents that had previously been ignored. And almost overnight, the perception of 1997 changed from a forgettable mintage year to a goldmine of possibilities, prompting collectors to revisit their old rolls, coin jars, and estate boxes with fresh eyes and magnifying glasses, hunting for off-center strikes, planchet cracks, rim cuds, die breaks, lamination flaws, misaligned dies, or even signs of mule errors and planchet anomalies. And because over 4.6 billion pennies were minted in 1997, the chances of finding errors exist, but finding one that rivals the $28 million example requires the convergence of incredibly rare factors: a perfect specimen, a sequence of overlapping errors, an unexplained alloy composition, flawless condition, and public exposure. Yet this hasn't stopped the hunt, and in fact it has invigorated an entire generation of numismatists to reconsider the value of what once seemed like ordinary coins. And the lasting impact of the 1997 penny saga is that it proved, without question, that modern coins can be just as valuable as ancient rarities when the right conditions align, and that sometimes, the most overlooked coin in your pocket change might hold more value than a safe full of gold. And as grading technology, X-ray analysis, and digital marketplaces evolve, the odds of detecting these rare treasures increase, creating more opportunities for discovery and wealth generation. So whether you're a long-time collector, a curious beginner, or just someone who enjoys a good treasure hunt, now is the time to look closer, pay attention, and explore the incredible world of mint errors, because as the story of the 1997 penny shows, 1 cent can change your life. And that's why we're here sharing this amazing journey with you, uncovering the secrets, revealing the possibilities, and celebrating the extraordinary value that can come from the smallest places. So if you found this exploration as fascinating as we have, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more shocking stories, millionaire coins, and mind-blowing discoveries that are waiting to be found by someone just like you.